Greetings YouTube. I'm coming today with a response video for Pack Savage's 100 subs contest. He was asking us to show our top 5 cards. This is really difficult for me to narrow my collection down to just 5 cards that I chose for my top ones. Really, these aren't the 5 most valuable, they're not the 5 rarest. I can't even say necessarily that they're my 5 favorite. I just thought that these 5 were best 5 to kind of give a breakdown of my collection as a whole. I am first and foremost a Hall of Fame baseball collector, and as a Hall of Fame collector, I'm drawn more to vintage cards than modern. I have a number of vintage Hall of Famers, and to try and pick just one was really difficult, but I decided what I would do is, in my opinion, the best baseball card set ever designed is, in my opinion, the 53 Bowman Color. Of the cards I had from that set, I decided I would go with my Roy Campanella as being my favorite card that I own from that set. Really beautiful image of, great Hall of Fame catcher, and certainly one of the cards I enjoy most in my collection, but gosh, it was hard to come up with just one card for this. Another aspect of my collection is that I really like and pursue pre-World War II premium cards and oversized kind of oddball premiums from that era. I'm showing here my Mel Ott. It's a R309 Type 2 premium, and this would have been offered in, I believe, about 1935. Would have been redeemed for wrappers from Goudy Gum Company. This premium, it's quite rare. It's not one that's easy to find examples of any of them from the set. Mine is one that was pasted into a scrapbook, and it's also had the borders trimmed off, and as you can see, when it was removed from the scrapbook there was some damage, so rather low condition example, but for me just the image itself is exceptional, and the fact that something that was as rare as this item is still exists 80 years later is the part that's special to me. Moving on to another thing to sum up my collection, I'm also a Cubs fan, so to represent that I went with my 1969 Topps Ernie Banks card. It's a PSA 7. Great image of Mr. Cub, and certainly a very nice card of one of the premier players of the organization. Another aspect of my collection is I like to collect players that have connections to the state of Nebraska, both Hall of Famers and non-Hall of Famers. With that, I try to pick up players that played at the University of Nebraska and then later appeared in the major leagues. The first player that did that was Mr. Adlitzka, who played in the late 1920s and early 1930s for the Washington Senators and Philadelphia Phillies. And this card here is actually a postcard, and it is autographed by Mr. Adlitzka. And this piece right here is one that I kind of consider the centerpiece for my Nebraska collection. And then my favorite all-time player is Roberto Clemente. And I've got a number of different cards of his. It was difficult for me to pick just one, but I decided I'll go with this larger one, which is a 1970 team issue card. Certainly one of my favorite cards of his as well, and kind of represents the oversized stuff that I like as well as part of my collection. There, I have the ones I've selected here for my top 5. Stick around, you'll see a couple images of some other cards that are in my collection that I considered including them as well, but didn't work out to include them all. But hey, I'll sneak in some scans for everybody to see. So that's my response. Be sure to check out Pack Savage's channel if you haven't already. Get into the contest if you like. I'm sure he'd appreciate some more participation. And speaking of 100 subs, I'm getting closer to that number, and I do have some ideas for my own giveaway that I plan to do once I reach that number. So, all right, until next time, everybody, have a good one.